You have 72 hours. Surrender unconditionally, or your planet burns. Fire.
The main cannon released a blinding gout of energy, propelling the planet killer toward Earth at near-light speed. The slug accelerated to relativistic speed, a glowing harbinger of annihilation crossing the void. On every human world, the broadcast streamed, the Ascendancy's ultimatum replaced by a live feed of the approaching projectile in Earth's command center. The silence was broken only by the impact countdown. 71 hours, 58 minutes. Captain James Mercer was summoned to the observation deck overlooking the backstop, its massive clamp arms folded in dock. Priority directive, Captain Mercer. Take command of the backstop. Intercept the hostile projectile. Rendezvous in 70 hours. No further details. Intercept a planet killer. 70 hours. They're not asking for a miracle. They're asking for a performance. Within the hour, the backstop's engines ignited, and Earth's last hope tore away from the dock, hurtling toward an impossible intercept. The backstop's bridge was a study in controlled tension. Captain James Mercer stood at the central display, the projected trajectory of the slug dominating the room. 70 hours. We match velocity with a relativistic mass at 0.95 c. The magnetic clamps have never been tested at those energies.
Never tested. The damping field can't handle the kinetic bleed. If the clamps lock, the ship tears apart. If they don't, we miss and Earth burns.
What's our margin, Chief?
Margin? There is no margin. We're rewriting physics with a prayer and a plasma torch.
Then rewrite it. The math says it's possible. The ship was built for this. We are the margin. The backstop pushed its engines past safety limits, accelerating toward the intercept point. Across human space, the galaxy's media dissected the mission with open skepticism. On Earth, broadcasts shifted to pundits arguing odds. Most gave the backstop less than 12%. The Draven Ascendancy's own feed showed Varric scoffing at the Primitives' attempt.
12%. Better than I expected.
James ordered the crew to their stations, and the backstop continued its lonely acceleration. Somewhere ahead, the slug continued its silent, terrible journey. The slug continued its relentless approach. Earth's broadcasts alive with fear and desperate hope. The Draven Ascendancy's propaganda feeds mocked humanity's silence, confident their planet killer would not be stopped.
Captain, radiation readings from the slug just spiked. At 0.5 light seconds, our forward sensors will be blind.
How close can we get before we lose telemetry?
0.2 light seconds. Beyond that, we're flying a brick.
We need a gravity slingshot. Use Jupiter's well to bleed velocity and align a blind intercept.
A slingshot that close to the slug. The radiation will cook the ship.
Better cooked than dead. We polarize the hull, dump coolant, and pray.
James gave the order. The backstop altered course, plunging toward Jupiter's gravity well and the narrowest intercept window ever attempted. If we miss this slingshot, there won't be a second chance. The backstop plunged into Jupiter's gravity well. Bleeding speed, the hull groaning under relentless stress.
Stress on primary struts at 94%, exceeding design limits.
Coolant pressure, dropping in section 4. We're bleeding heat. Patch it now or we cook.
Marcus sealed the breach with a magnetic patch, his cybernetic hands moving faster than thought. Hold course. Clear the well in 20 seconds. The ship screamed through the final arc, then burst into clear space, engines igniting to full power.
Slingshot successful. Intercept heading set, but the slug's still pulling away. Velocity differential 3,000 clicks per second.
On the Draven Flag bridge, Admiral Varric observed the human ship's audacity with cold amusement. Earth held its breath, the gap closing too slowly. Push the reactor past redline. We catch that slug, or we die trying. The backstop's reactor screamed past redline, the ship shuddering as it clawed closer to the slug.
Captain, the magnetic clamp targeting is degrading. The slug's radiation is swamping the automated alignment.
Can we synchronize manually?
Manually? That'll fry the entire damping array if the timing's off by a microsecond.
I can write a manual sequence. It won't be elegant, but it might hold long enough.
Do it.
We've got one shot.
The clamps extended, massive arms reaching toward the glowing slug, but its energy field pulsed violently, pushing back with an invisible force.
It's fighting us. The field is destabilizing the clamp harmonics.
The ship shuddered as the magnetic fields clashed, the clamps straining to find purchase on the impossible target.
We're losing alignment. I am feeding in corrective vectors, but we're oscillating.
A surge from the slug's energy field hit the clamps like a physical blow. Two arms shorted out, sparking violently.
Clamps 3 and 4 are down. I am rerouting power, but the coupling is fried.
Sealing the breached coolant conduits on deck 6. I need 30 seconds. If I don't, we lose the whole section.
The backstop lurched, drifting out of alignment. James fought the helm, muscle and will against a ship that wanted to spin apart.
Hold her steady. Elara, give me something to work with.
On every human screen, the live feed showed the failing attempt, sparks, drifting, the slug pulling inexorably away. Ali and military analysts across the galaxy called the attempt suicidal, a final desperate act before extinction.
We're falling behind. Slug velocity increasing. We can't match it without more power, and the reactor's already cooking.
Then we push it harder. I am not losing Earth because we couldn't take the heat.
The window was closing, ship damaged, arms failing, and the slug pulling ahead. The backstop had seconds to find a miracle.
I've got a fix. Vent engine plasma directly into the clamp array. It'll create a temporary damping field, but if it backfires, we're gone.
How long to rig it? And what's the failure probability?
2 minutes, 50-50. It melts the array and kills us all, but it's the only way to neutralize that field.
50-50. Those aren't odds. They're a coin toss.
Do it. Rig the vent. We're not standing down.
Marcus triggered the plasma vent. A stream of superheated energy poured into the clamp arms, a blazing shield crackling to life around the ship.
Vent active. Field stabilizing. I am recalibrating the clamps for maximum damping.
Bring us back on target. This time, we don't miss.
The ship strained, engines roaring as it realigned. The plasma field flickered, a tenuous cocoon against annihilation.
Field holding, barely. This is the last chance, Captain. Make it count.
The backstop slammed into a punishing high-G burn, engines screaming as it closed the final kilometers.
Closing to engagement range. Plasma field at 80% and rising. Slug energy fluctuating. It's like it knows we're coming.
The plasma field crackled around the clamp arms, a shimmering blue-white cocoon pushing back against the slug's radiation.
10 seconds to optimal lock. 9, 8.
Plasma reaction, unstable at 93%. I am bleeding off the excess, but it's dancing on a knife edge.
3, 2, 1.
Now, engage clamps.
The magnetic clamps snapped shut around the planet killer with a shriek of tortured metal. The slug's blazing core held between them.
We've got it. Clamps locked. Damping field holding. Wait, the oscillation is spiking. The slug is fighting the field.
The entire ship convulsed as the captured slug's kinetic energy bled through the damping field, threatening to shake the backstop apart.
Power surge across the array. Dump the plasma, all of it. Or we lose the field and the ship.
The plasma field collapsed in a blinding flash, energy dispersing into the void, leaving the clamps bare against the slug's fury.
Attitude holding at 40%. I am countering the yaw, but we need a reverse burn to match velocity.
Full reverse thrust. Burn the reserve tanks. Hold on.
The backstop's engines reversed with a tremendous flare, the hull screaming as it fought to bleed momentum. The slug quivered in the grip, but the spent damping field had done its work. The kinetic bleed slowed to a manageable thrum.
Velocity matched. The slug is stable. We actually caught it.
For a long moment, only the life support whispered. The ship was battered, but she held together.
Damage report. Casualties. What's left of our engines?
Across the galaxy, every screen froze on the impossible image. A battered human ship holding a planet killer in its broken arms. On the bridge, the elation of capture faded as damage reports scrolled across every display.
Main drive is at 40%. Another burn like that and we'll be a debris cloud. We've got maybe one more full thrust maneuver.
What now, sir? We've got the weapon. Do we head home?
Number. Set course for Draven space.
The silence that followed was absolute. Ilara's hand froze over her console.
Draven space. You want to retaliate? Sir, we're a wreck. And that slug, just releasing it near their homeworld, could kill millions.
I didn't say we were going to use it. I said, set course. That's an order.
Marcus studied the captain for a long moment, then turned back to his engineering panel without a word. The backstop's thrusters ignited, nudging the ship and its captive away from Earth's blue limb toward the distant heart of the enemy. Across the galaxy, the broadcast analysts noticed the course change and fell into confused, urgent silence. Across the galaxy, the feeds speculated wildly. The Draven Ascendancy's official channel erupted in outrage, then fell silent.
They're bluffing, a crippled ship and one captured slug. Let them limp toward us. They'll do nothing.
Aboard the backstop, the crew's whispers turned darker. Some spoke of retribution, others feared what the captain might do.
I've heard 3 different bets on what he's planning. Nobody's right, because nobody knows.
Captain James retreated to his ready room, sealing the hatch. Alone, he activated the ship's recording system.
Captain, I need to speak with you. Sir, the crew is fracturing. They need to know what we're doing. Do you plan to use that slug?
Number. We're going to return it to them. Cold, inert. Show the galaxy they fired first, and we chose not to fire back.
Return it, not use it. He's going to let them see what they are.
James returned to the recording. You fired first, on broadcast, at a populated world. We're giving it back unspent, the galaxy saw. Choose what you are. The message stored, silent until delivery. The Draven Ascendancy dispatched a squadron of sleek interceptors, their engines blazing as they angled toward the approaching human ship.
Find them. If they resist, destroy them. The Ascendancy does not tolerate mockery.
Contact. Multiple drive signatures, Draven military. Intercept in 6 hours at current speed.
Powered down all non-essential systems. We hide in the slug's radiation shadow. They can't see through Cherenkov's scatter.
I can pulse the slug's residual containment field. Make us look like a radiation anomaly. Give me 2 minutes.
The backstop went dark, clinging to the captured slug as a torrent of radiation bloomed around them. A shield of roaring light, the Draven interceptors swept through the sector, their sensors blind to anything but the disruptive, searing energy of the planet killer.
They're passing. Adjusting course away. They didn't detect us.
Maintain silent running. Not until they're out of passive range.
The interceptors vanished into the void. The backstop, still hidden, resumed its slow course toward the heart of the Draven Ascendancy. The backstop emerged from the shadow of the slug's radiation into the glare of the Draven home system's outer perimeter.
Incoming hail from the Draven fleet. Multiple warships locking weapons.
You have entered Ascendancy space with a weapon of mass destruction. Power down and prepare to be destroyed.
We have something that belongs to you. Observe.
The visual feed materialized on every Draven display. The planet killer slug, inert and cooling in the backstop's broken clamp arms.
We are not here to use it. We are here to return it. Grant us safe passage to the Senate, or I broadcast everything now.
A long silence stretched across the tactical channel. Varek's crest flattened in suppressed fury.
You will be escorted. Any deviation, and we will annihilate you.
He bought it. Now we just have to survive the parade.
Flanked by Draven gunships, the backstop began its slow descent toward the heart of the Ascendancy. The inert slug held tight. The escorting gunships guided the backstop into a cavernous docking bay at the edge of the Senate arcology.
Upload the recording to the secure broadcast buffer. We play it only after the slug is physically delivered.
Buffer set. It will transmit on your command, on every channel in the galaxy.
The magnetic clamps released with a shudder, and the inert planet killer was drawn by station tugs into a waiting cargo bay. Inside the Senate, the members were assembled in emergency session, their hushed confusion giving way to simmering anger. Senator Keir watched the chamber's central projection, her crest held rigid with apprehension.
Senate security acknowledges receipt of the slug. We're clear.
Now comes the hard part. letting them hear what they've done.
On the bridge, the external feed showed the slug, inert and cooling, now under Draven custody. James tapped the transmit control, priming the system. The recording was ready. He would not fire a weapon, but he was about to fire the truth. Within the Senate, the massive cargo doors parted, and the planet-killer slug, inert and still radiating residual heat, was brought to the center of the chamber on a grav sled. Before the senators could protest, the chamber's holographic projectors activated unbidden, and the image of Captain James Mercer materialized above them.
You fired first, on broadcast, at a populated world. We're giving it back unspent. The galaxy saw. Choose what you are.
The recording ended, the hologram freezing for a long moment before it dissolved, leaving only the inert slug and a deafening silence. On every human world, in every alien council, the broadcast replayed. The Draven had been exposed, not by a counterstrike, but by their own weapon returned.
What have we done?
The galaxy watched, the channel still open, waiting for the Ascendancy's response.
They've heard it. Now, they can't unhear it.
The backstop's engines idled, the ship and crew waiting for the outcome of the truth they had delivered. Senator Keir rose slowly, her voice cutting through the stunned silence like a blade.
This body, we fired first, on a populated world, and they returned our weapon unspent. We are the aggressors here.
A murmur swept through the assembly. Then the representative of the Kelmir Protectorate stood, his voice cold and final. The Kelmir Protectorate withdraws from all treaties with the Ascendancy immediately.
You will stand down. That is an order. This is a human deception.
No one in the Senate moved. Their eyes shifted from Varek's snarling hologram to the inert slug, a silent monument to their folly.
You are all traitors. The Ascendancy will crush this rebellion.
But the evidence was undeniable. The galaxy had seen the truth. One by one, other delegations announced their withdrawal. On the flag bridge, Admiral Varek screamed orders into an unresponsive void, his authority crumbling with every defection. The Draven Ascendancy, once feared, was now exposed and abandoned, its weapon turned into its own indictment. The defections continued, a cascade of hollow declarations severing ties with the Draven Ascendancy. On Earth, the streets erupted not in cheers, but in stunned, tearful relief.
Captain, Draven Traffic Control just transmitted our departure clearance. They're not going to stop us.
Detach from the station. Set course for home. 1/3 thrust. We've earned a slow trip.
The docking clamps released with a dull thud, and the battered ship nudged away from the station.
We didn't fire a single shot, and they tore themselves apart with the truth.
Earth was safe, not because they had destroyed the enemy, but because they had shown the galaxy what the enemy truly was. James stood on the observation deck, watching the Draven system recede, its central star winking like a closing eye.
Sir, do you think they'll ever understand why we didn't fire?
Some will. The ones that matter.
The Senate chamber stood empty, silent but for the inert slug on the floor, guarded by a few sentinels. A replay of Senator Keir's speech echoed across the network. We were shown what we are. May the galaxy never forget. Her words joined Captain Mercer's message in the galactic record, preserved for all time. On the Draven homeworld, the military command ordered a full stand-down. Warships across the system powered off their weapons. The planet killer was left where it lay, a monument to the Ascendancy's folly and humanity's restraint. In the quiet, the slug's residual heat dissipated, its glow fading to a cold scar on the floor. The Ascendancy did not fall to fleets or firepower. It fell to truth, broadcast across the stars, flags across the capital, lowered to half-mast, a silent admission of guilt. Historians would later call it the Silent Strike, a victory won not by killing, but by not killing. They fired a planet killer. Humanity caught it, and threw it back without firing a shot. On the bridge, the crew moved in a tired silence, tending the battered ship with quiet hands.
Sir, I have to ask, was it worth it? The damage? The risk? Choosing not to fire?
James didn't answer with words. He turned and looked at his crew. Marcus with a bandaged hand. others slumped but breathing, all of them alive. His gaze drifted to the viewport, where the shattered clamp arms were framed against the distant stars. Those arms had held a world ender. Now they held only the memory of the choice they made.
Look at them, Commander. Every single one came home. That is what was worth it.
The ship limped on, its drive pulsing weakly, a wounded hero returning from a battle it never fought.
We showed them we could be more than they feared, more than we sometimes believe.
James turned back to the stars, his hand resting on the worn armrest of his command chair. The galaxy now had proof that humanity could be more than a predator. Alien news anchors across the galaxy paused, their usual commentary replaced by stunned admiration for humanity's restraint. One diplomat's voice carried across the feeds. They are dangerous because they can do what we cannot. Hold a loaded gun and not fire. On a Draven colony, a lone child watched the broadcast of the inert slug, her large eyes reflecting the cold metal that had nearly ended a world. On Earth, the evening skyline held its breath. No military parades, only quiet gatherings of solemn gratitude. The victory was not in the fall of an empire, but in the proof that humanity had chosen differently. The empty docks where the backstop had launched stood silent, transformed from a place of desperation into a monument to restraint. Across the galaxy, the name Earth was whispered with new weight. Not a predator, but a force of terrible, beautiful choice. The silent strike had not killed a single soul, yet it had toppled an empire and redefined humanity's place in the cosmos. And somewhere in the returning void, the backstop limped onward, a wounded testament to what humanity could be. They fired a planet killer. Humanity caught it, and threw it back, not with anger, but with the terrible power of not pulling the trigger. The backstop settled into Earth's dock with a groan of weary metal, no fanfare to greet it. The loading ramp extended, and Captain James walked down first, his face shadowed with exhaustion. Commander Alara and Chief Marcus followed, the crew descending in silent, solemn file. A small crowd of families and quiet officials waited, their eyes full of relief but no cheers. James paused at the bottom of the ramp and looked back at the ship, at the broken clamp arms still reaching into the void. A young girl stepped forward, a piece of paper clutched in her hand. She held it up to him. It was a child's drawing, a crude but clear picture of the backstop, catching a shining star in its arms.
Thank you.
He accepted the drawing and nodded, the weight of what they had done settling into a quiet human moment. Behind him, the ship stood as silent testament, and the galaxy, for once, was still. The child's drawing of the backstop, cradling a glowing sphere, was held up against the backdrop of the silent dock. In the dim light, the crude crayon ship seemed almost alive, its broken arms reaching for the star. Then, as if by some quiet magic, words etched themselves across the image. In memoriam of restraint, a hush fell over the small crowd, the meaning settling like dust after a battle. The drawing remained a fragile thing, yet it carried the weight of worlds. Slowly, the camera drew back, the image shrinking into the vastness of the dock. The scene dissolved, first to a soft blur, then to an inky blackness. In that darkness, there was no sound but the echo of a choice made light years away. The galaxy had witnessed the impossible, and it would not soon forget. They caught a planet killer and threw it back without firing a shot.